The autumn in Boston was beautiful, with trees turning red and yellow, and sunlight pouring down on the elementary school playground near Central Park. Olivia Morrison was looking at that scenery from her classroom window while writing comments on homework from students who had submitted late. It had been about an hour since the children in her class had gone home, and the school building was wrapped in silence. "Teacher, are you finished?" Turning to the gentle voice, she saw her son Noah reading a book in the corner of the classroom. His eyes reflected intelligence and kindness, and while his pale complexion showed signs of fatigue, his smile remained bright. "I'll be done soon, Noah. Can you wait a little longer?" Olivia smiled back. Her eyes were warm, and her long brown hair was pulled into a simple ponytail. Her simple clothing was modest but neat, telling the story of her seriousness and sincerity. Noah nodded silently and returned to his book. The 10-year-old boy was more mature than his age, possessing an adult-like demeanor and thoughtfulness. Despite having a weak heart since birth, he was always positive and brightened those around him. Olivia's heart warmed whenever she looked at her son. She had conceived Noah 10 years ago when she was a college student. Jason, her boyfriend at the time, disappeared instead of taking responsibility when he learned of her pregnancy. Her parents called her shameless, and her sister Melissa gave her cold looks. Nevertheless, she graduated from college, became a teacher, and raised Noah on her own. That path was never smooth, but now she had pride. "Mom, what kind of people are Grandma and Grandpa?" Olivia stopped writing at Noah's sudden question. Her son occasionally asked about the grandparents and aunt he had never met. She tried to be fair despite her bitter memories. "Your Grandma Martha is a social person. She always makes sure to look perfect and really values her reputation in the community. Grandpa Frank is a successful businessman, very smart, and good with numbers." Olivia chose her words carefully as she answered. She swallowed words like cold, arrogant, and money-hungry. "What about Aunt Melissa?" "She's very smart, graduated from Princeton University, and is now a famous lawyer. Next month, she's marrying a man named Thomas Hamilton. He's the son of a real estate company, and their wedding is the talk of Boston this year." Noah gazed out the window thoughtfully. "Do you think I'll ever meet them?" Although Olivia felt her heart tighten, she kept smiling. "Someday, I'm sure." In her mind, she recalled the cold words from the last time she spoke with her parents. Martha's words, "You and that child in your belly are not part of our family." Frank's declaration, "I won't pay for your mistake." And 3 years ago, when she sent a Christmas card, there wasn't even a reply. But she didn't tell Noah. She didn't tell him how cruel his grandparents were, or how self-centered her sister was. Melissa had received all her parents' affection and was raised as the perfect daughter. She was successful in social circles and now stood on the verge of an ideal marriage. Olivia finished writing comments on the last homework and closed the notebook. "Let's go home. What would you like to eat tonight?" Noah's eyes sparkled. "Spaghetti." The two started walking toward their apartment. Their home was modest but filled with love. Olivia held Noah's small hand, grateful that he was healthy and happy. The pain of rejection from her family was softened by her son's presence. Still, sometimes she couldn't help but wonder. What if something happened? What if she needed help? She smoothed the wrinkle on her forehead and pushed away such thoughts. She had managed on her own thus far. She would simply continue to do so. Olivia's life changed on a Thursday afternoon. While she was teaching math to her 3rd grade class, she received an urgent summons from the principal's office. When she stepped into the hallway, Principal Parker was waiting with a grave expression. "Olivia, you need to go to the hospital right away." Noah collapsed during PE class. Her heart leaped. Noah was supposed to always observe PE classes. When she checked with his teacher, she learned that Noah had begged to play basketball with his friends. He had seemed fine at the time. When she arrived at Mount Sinai Hospital, Noah was already undergoing tests. Dr. Green, the pediatrician, took her to a quiet corner of the hallway. "Ms. Morrison, I'll be frank. Noah's heart condition is rapidly deteriorating. We've been monitoring his congenital heart disease, but the results of today's tests show." The doctor's words became distant, and all Olivia could hear was the sound of blood pulsing in her ears. Heart transplant. Urgency. Waiting list. Expensive specialized treatment. These words reached her in fragments. How much time, she finally managed to ask. "Honestly, I don't know. It could be months, or it could be less. We'll do our best to place his name high on the transplant waiting list, but there's no guarantee we'll find a matching donor." When Olivia entered Noah's hospital room, he was sleeping in bed. His complexion was gray like soil, and his lips had a bluish tint. Seeing his small body surrounded by IVs and heart monitors, tears welled up in her eyes. That night, after Noah fell asleep, Olivia sat at the small kitchen table in her apartment, looking at the medical bills. The amount was far beyond what she could pay with a teacher's salary and limited insurance. She had already used up her savings and was already working 2 part-time teaching jobs. Something inside her broke. For years, she had maintained her pride and never asked her parents for help. But now, her son's life was at stake. Pride could be thrown away. Olivia took a deep breath and dialed her parents' number for the first time in 10 years. Her mother answered the phone. "Hello, Wilson Residence." "Mom, it's Olivia." A moment of silence. "Well, this is unusual. What do you want?" Martha's voice was cold. "Mom, please listen. Noah is very ill. He needs a heart transplant, and there's not much time. The insurance isn't enough, and I don't have." "Olivia," Martha's sharp voice cut her off. "Whatever your situation may be, we're very busy with Melissa's wedding preparations right now. As you know, the Hamiltons are a very influential family, and this wedding must be perfect." "But Mom, this is a matter of life. Noah's life." Olivia's voice was trembling. "That's the result of your choices. We have no responsibility." Another voice came from the other end of the phone. "Mom, who is it?" It was Melissa. "Your sister. She says her child is sick." There was the sound of the phone being taken, and Melissa's voice echoed. "Olivia? What are you thinking, bringing this drama before my wedding?" Olivia tried to contain her anger. "Melissa, Noah has a serious heart condition. The treatment costs." "Oh, it's about money again. Same old story. I know what this is. You're just jealous, aren't you? Because I have a wonderful life and you failed." "This isn't about jealousy." Olivia's voice rose. "Your nephew's life is in danger." "Nephew?" Melissa scoffed. "I've never even met him. He's a child you made on your own." "Dad." The phone changed hands again. "Olivia, what do you want now?" Frank's voice was low and irritated. "Dad, Noah is seriously ill." "Money." Olivia went quiet. Then in a small voice, she answered, "Yes. Listen, when you decided to have a child young and unmarried, we tried to stop you. But you made your choice. Take responsibility for the consequences. We have Melissa's wedding. You understand?" Olivia couldn't say anything. Her father's voice continued. "I'm sorry for your child, but stop this now. Don't contact us again." The phone went dead. Olivia couldn't move for a while. As tears streamed down her cheeks, she stared into the darkness outside the window. She had always lived by her own strength. Even without her parents' support, she had managed thus far. But this time was different. She was facing an opponent she couldn't fight alone. The next morning, Olivia made a small decision. Before heading to the hospital, she opened her old laptop and began writing an email. In it was the truth. The real feelings toward the family that had abandoned her, which she had kept in her heart for 10 years. "This is for Noah," she whispered. "I'll do anything for you." She headed to Noah's hospital room. The green lighting in the hospital corridor cast shadows on Olivia's tired face. She had barely slept for 3 weeks. Days spent at Noah's bedside, calls from substitute teachers at school, and constant conversations with doctors. Her world had shrunk to this corner of the hospital. Noah's condition was worsening day by day. His small body was surrounded by IVs and machines, and his pale face had lost its former vitality. Still, he never stopped smiling. "Mom, what happens if I die?" Noah suddenly asked one morning. Olivia caught her breath. "That won't happen. We're fighting. You're going to get better." Noah shook his head slightly. "But I heard what Dr. Green said. That it's hard to find a matching donor." Olivia squeezed her son's hand. "Don't give up hope, Noah." "I'm not scared," Noah said in a small voice. "Just, if I die, will Grandpa, Grandma, and Aunt Melissa be sad? Even though they don't know me?" Olivia's chest ached. She didn't know how to answer. In the end, she kissed her son's cheek and said, "Of course they would. You're a special child." 2 days later, Dr. Green called her into the hallway. His expression said it all. "Ms. Morrison, Noah's heart function has declined further. Without a transplant." He broke off. "How long?" Olivia's voice was dry. "A few days, a week at most." Olivia leaned against the wall. Her legs seemed unable to support her weight. "Alternative treatments? Even experimental ones?" "We've already considered all possibilities. There are treatments not covered by insurance, but the cost is..." "How much?" "At least $300,000. "But the success rate is..." Olivia closed her eyes. It was several times her annual income. That night, she made a decision. As a last hope, she sent a formal letter to her family. Not a funeral invitation, but a detailed letter about Noah's critical condition and the help needed. She opened her heart, set aside her pride, and begged for her son's life. There was no reply. 1 day passed, then 2, and Olivia's hope faded. On the 3rd day, Noah's heart stopped momentarily and began beating again thanks to the doctor's desperate efforts. But Dr. Green's expression was dark. His eyes said, "There's no time." On the morning of the 4th day, Olivia made her last gamble. With trembling hands, she created a funeral invitation for her family. It wasn't reality, Noah was still alive. But she wanted to confront her family with the truth. A silent message saying, "If he dies, this will be your last chance." She sent the email and formal invitation. And waited again. But there was no reply. Noah's condition worsened further, and Olivia didn't leave his bedside. On the evening of the 5th day, she picked up her cell phone and dialed her mother's number with trembling fingers. After the ringtone sounded once, twice, 3 times, Martha's voice came through. "Hello, Wilson Residence." Olivia took a deep breath. "It's Olivia." A moment of silence. "Well, this is unusual." Martha's voice was flippant. "Did you receive my email and the funeral invitation?" Olivia's voice was tired. Oh, that, Martha's voice changed. Honestly, I was shocked. A funeral? What are you thinking? Noah's condition is extremely critical. The doctors say he doesn't have long. Olivia's voice trembled. Well, but Martha hesitated. I'm busy with Melissa's wedding preparations. You understand, don't you? Hundreds of guests. And if it's really that serious, you should have told us earlier. Hot tears spilled from Olivia's eyes. I did contact you before. I asked for help. But no one would listen. Olivia, we have our own lives. We can't get involved in your problems. It's your only grandson's funeral, Mom. Please come, Olivia pleaded. He's your grandson. Even though you've never met him. There was a rustle on the other end of the phone, and the next moment, Melissa's high-pitched voice came through. What are you thinking, at a time like this? Olivia closed her eyes. Melissa, Noah is dying. He is. Don't steal the spotlight with someone's death. It's always like this with you. You want attention? Melissa's voice was cold. My wedding is in 2 weeks. Don't bring this drama. Everyone was supposed to celebrate my day. Noah is your nephew. Even though you never tried to meet him, Olivia said quietly. Nephew? He's a child you decided to have on your own. Don't involve me. And what do you think Thomas will think if he hears about a funeral? It's bad luck. Olivia was hit with a mix of anger and sadness. Bad luck? A child's death? You really are. There was the sound of the phone being moved again, and this time her father's low voice echoed. Olivia, that's enough, Frank's voice was cruel. The living are more important, aren't they? I've had enough talk about a dead kid. Olivia was speechless. Her heart froze. That dramatic funeral invitation upset Melissa. Doing something like that during her important time, you're really selfish. I understand, Olivia's voice sounded distant. This will be the last time I contact you. She hung up. The hospital room was quiet, with only the rhythm of machines echoing. Noah had his eyes slightly open. Are you okay, Mom? His voice was faint. Olivia wiped away her tears and smiled. Yes, I'm fine. We have each other. Noah smiled softly and reached out his hand. Olivia gently took it. Mom, I have a request. Olivia gently kissed her son's forehead. Tell me anything. When I die, I want to write letters. To Grandpa, Grandma, and Aunt Melissa. Olivia's chest ached. You're not going to die, Noah. We are. Please, Mom, Noah's eyes were serious. Promise me. Olivia nodded. I promise. Noah smiled with relief. And one more thing. I want you to put those letters in my coffin. But don't open them. Olivia was confused. But then no one will be able to read them. It's okay, Noah laughed softly. I have a plan. Before Olivia could answer, Noah's eyes closed, and he fell asleep. She was left alone in the room, gazing at the sunset outside the window, wondering what her son was planning. On a calm, clear autumn day, Noah quietly passed away. In his final moment, he held Olivia's hand and whispered, "Thank you." Then he fell into eternal sleep. Olivia, alone in her grief, prepared her son's funeral. It was a small ceremony attended by fellow teachers, Noah's classmates, and their parents. But not one member of her family appeared. The night before the funeral, Olivia fulfilled Noah's last wish. Staring at the envelope he had written, she placed it unopened in the coffin as promised. Next to the envelope, along with Noah's favorite book, was a small digital recorder. Olivia didn't know what it was for, but she respected her son's wishes. 2 weeks after the funeral, Olivia took out a black dress from the back of her closet. It was something Noah had asked her to do the day before he died. "Mom, go to Aunt Melissa's wedding." "But Noah, we weren't invited." "It's okay, you should go. Promise me." Olivia couldn't refuse her son's last wish. St. James Cathedral was one of the most beautiful churches in Boston. That day, the church was filled with flowers and light, bustling with people from high society. Olivia quietly sat in a seat at the back. Attendees who noticed her presence gave surprised looks, but since the ceremony was about to begin, no one approached her. At the altar, the groom, Thomas Hamilton, was waiting with a nervous expression. He was tall with a gentlemanly air. Olivia was seeing him for the first time, but she had read about her sister's fiancé in newspapers and social media. He had a reputation as the son of a real estate developer who was also passionate about charitable activities. The wedding march played, and Melissa entered on Frank's arm. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Her pure white dress fit perfectly with her perfect style, with a long veil flowing behind her. Olivia felt a tightness in her chest. Once, they had been close sisters. As children, they shared secrets and talked about dreams. Somewhere along the way, that changed. The ceremony proceeded solemnly. As the pastor's voice echoed through the church, Olivia thought about Noah. What would her son have said? He would surely have been happy to see this beautiful ceremony. He had always wanted to meet her family. If anyone has reason to object to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace. At the pastor's words echoing through the church, Olivia stood up. Her heart was beating violently. All eyes in the church turned to her. "I have a reason to object." Her voice was small but clearly resonated in the silent church. Murmurs arose, and Frank and Martha's faces contorted with anger and fear. Melissa turned around, and when she saw her sister, her face turned red. "I came to fulfill my son's last wish," Olivia continued. She took an envelope from her small bag. "Noah wanted this to be opened not by my hand, but in front of all of you." Thomas looked at Melissa with a confused expression. He clearly didn't understand the situation. "Remove this woman," Frank shouted. "Wait," Thomas's voice echoed. He descended from the altar and approached Olivia. "Are you Melissa's sister?" Olivia nodded. "And I lost my son 2 weeks ago. He was 10 years old." Sympathy appeared in Thomas's eyes. "I'm very sorry for your loss. Please, let us hear what your son wanted to say." "Thomas," Melissa cried out. "Don't believe what she says. She always wants attention." Thomas looked quietly at Melissa. "Whether someone values family is important to me." He turned back to Olivia. "Please continue." With trembling hands, Olivia opened the envelope and took out a letter and a small digital recorder. She opened the letter and began to read aloud. "Dear Grandma, Grandpa, and Aunt Melissa. I am Noah Morrison. You don't know me, but I know a lot about you. Because Mom often told me about you. That Grandma hosts wonderful parties in society, that Grandpa is a successful businessman, that Aunt Melissa is smart and beautiful. I always dreamed of meeting you someday. But that chance will never come now. My heart is very weak and will soon stop beating. But please don't be sad. I've had a happy life. Because Mom was the best mom. There's just one thing I wanted to know. Why didn't you accept Mom and me as family? Mom didn't do anything wrong. She worked hard and raised me. Alone, without help. I don't resent you. Rather, my last wish is for you to accept Mom as family. She is a very strong person, but she is very lonely. Please love her. She deserves it. And Aunt Melissa. Congratulations on your wedding. Is Uncle Thomas a good person? When I grew up, I wanted to be a fine person like him. I hope he makes you happy. Finally, there is a small recorder with this letter. It is a present from me. Truth sometimes comes with pain, but I think it's necessary. I hope you all find happiness. Noah Morrison. The church was completely silent. Tears were flowing down Olivia's cheeks. She picked up the recorder and pressed play. The first sound was the hospital machines. Then Olivia's voice. Mom, please. Noah's treatment costs $300,000. His life is at stake. Olivia, we have Melissa's wedding. That budget is $300,000. You understand, don't you? There are priorities. Martha's voice echoed coldly. But Mom, this is a matter of life. That's the result of your choices. Next, Frank's voice. The living are more important, aren't they? I've had enough talk about a dead kid. The recording ended there. The church was wrapped in complete silence. Martha and Frank's faces had turned pale, and Melissa was trembling. Thomas stared at his fiancée with a shocked expression. Is this true? His voice was low and trembling. Melissa couldn't answer. Her eyes reflected fear. Thomas quietly returned to the altar and took out a small ring box. He held it out to Melissa. I want to share my life with someone who values family, he said quietly. You don't seem to be such a person. He turned and approached Olivia. Your son must have been a wonderful child. His last wish should be fulfilled. Thomas left the church. As voices of confusion and disturbance spread throughout the church, Olivia quietly stood up and headed for the exit. When she turned back as she left the church, she saw Martha and Frank standing in shock, and Melissa collapsed on the floor. In the outside light, Olivia took a deep breath. Noah, your wish has been fulfilled, she whispered. She remembered what the doctor had told her when she left the hospital. Your son was a special child. His heart may have been weak, but his heart was stronger than anyone's. Olivia looked up at the sky. Her son's smile appeared. 2 years had passed. On the society page of the Boston Globe, there was a large photo of the opening ceremony of the Noah Morrison Children's Heart Center. In the center of the photo, Olivia Morrison and Thomas Hamilton stood smiling. Behind them shone a modern building equipped with the latest medical facilities. I hope that this center, named after my son, will save the lives of many children, Olivia's comment was attached to the article. Several weeks after the scandal of Melissa's broken engagement, Thomas visited Olivia and said he wanted to know about Noah. He was moved by that pure soul after seeing Noah's photos, diaries, and drawings. And he made a decision. Through his family's foundation, he would establish a specialized center for pediatric heart patients. Olivia came to play a central role in that project. She quit her teaching job and became the director of the center's patient support program. Her dedicated work supporting families in similar situations gave hope to many people. Meanwhile, the Wilson family's downfall was rapid. Melissa couldn't recover from the shock of her broken engagement and became dependent on alcohol. Her career at the law firm stalled, and she was eventually forced to take a leave of absence. Martha and Frank lost their position in society and were abandoned by many friends. Frank's company's performance also deteriorated along with its reputation. One winter day, the doorbell rang at Olivia's apartment. When she opened the door, an aged Martha stood there. May I come in? Her voice had lost the confident tone of the past. Olivia invited her mother into the living room. On the wall hung photographs of Noah's smiling face. Martha stared at those photos for a while. "He looks like you," she finally said. "His personality was kinder than mine," Olivia quietly replied. "Olivia, we were wrong," tears glistened in Martha's eyes. "I want you to forgive us. Could we be a family again?" Olivia gazed at the snow scene outside the window. "Noah would have forgiven you. That's the kind of child he was." She took a deep breath. "But I don't have that courage yet. I need time." Martha nodded and stood up. "I understand. We'll be waiting whenever you're ready." After she left, Olivia picked up Noah's photograph. "I'm learning your kindness little by little," she whispered. That night, Thomas invited her to dinner. Their relationship had gradually changed from friendship. He listened to stories about Noah and was impressed by her strength. Olivia, too, was beginning to open her heart to his sincerity and thoughtfulness. When she returned to the center's office, new children's photos were arranged on Olivia's desk. They were all children who could receive treatment thanks to Noah. As Olivia picked up the photos one by one, she was filled with gratitude toward her son. She looked at Noah's photo and smiled. "You saved all of us until the very end." Outside the window, new snow had quietly begun to fall. It seemed like a symbol of a new beginning.